I grew up in the same house for 20 years. It's old, it's rickety, and it's a big mess all the time. I've always wondered what it would be like to move into a new house. It was an experience I've always wanted for myself. I always thought it was like cool and different and unique and kind of exotic to be able to move into like a new house. I never really know why my parents decided to stay here. I grew up in Oasis Mobile Home Park, which is an unincorporated area near O'Hare Airport between Elk Grove Village and Des Plaines, Illinois. But because it's unincorporated, it gets plowed last when it snows, and I can't get a library card because I don't belong to a specific particular town.
It was not my dream for you. I always thought that when I had kids, I was going to make darn sure that they had roots.
Living here has definitely been an interesting experience. And it's not like living in a mobile home park is a bad thing. It just happens to be this particular house. It's dilapidated over the years. My parents keep trying to fix something that's been broken for a very long time. I think my biggest issue with living in a mobile home park is, well, the fact that I've never lived in a house, and that was something that I always wanted for myself.
So although it wasn't the nice big house with the big backyard that I always dreamed of, you had a home.
My parents moved out while they were young and moved into the park while my brothers and sisters were also really small, so they spent a majority of their life in the mobile home park too. I think a part of why my parents keep trying to fix up the place is the fact that they raised us here, and like, this is where we grew up. This is our home. This is the only home that we've ever known. And I kind of like that. I
moved around a lot. A lot. I was born in Minnesota, and when I was 4 or 5 years old, we relocated to Chicago. And between the ages of 5 and 10, we lived in 2 places in Chicago before we moved to the suburbs, where we promptly moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So for me, I never really had a home. We lived in houses, 6 flats, apartments, but I never had a home, a real home.
I feel like I have this special connection to the house because of it, even though it is really kind of old and rickety and not in as good of a shape as it could be. There are a lot of memories here, especially for me. I met some of my greatest friends here too, I think. And actually a lot of the kids who went to my school, or at least the group of friends that I had, the majority of them lived in the mobile home park. And I remember, it became sort of like the cool place to be. Like, everybody wanted to live in the mobile home park because, that's where everybody else was, and it was just like more exciting. That's where everybody would play. And I remember my friend Amy actually confessed to me one time that she was jealous that she didn't live in the mobile home park because that's where everybody else was. And now when we look back on it, we kind of laugh because we realize kind of how ridiculous that sounds nowadays. I have a strange relationship with my house, I think. As much as I hate being here, and as much as I hate it being so just the way it is, I still couldn't see myself growing up anywhere else, and I'm really glad that I still live here and that I've had the experiences that I've had and that I have the house that I do, and I'm really glad that I'm here.
You guys all have a sense of home, belonging someplace, and I think you do. So it's good enough for me.